art has been my medicine, and it's been my lover, and it's been the thing that sustains me. And it's made me feel like I have purpose, I have confidence, I have something to give, and that feels good. And I receive through that too.
That's artist Cicely Carew. I'm Cara Duffy, and this is the Powerful Ladies Podcast. Welcome to the Powerful Ladies Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's begin by telling everyone your name, where you are in the world, and what you're up to.
Okay. My name is Cicely Carew. I am currently in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I'm an artist. I'm home today, though.
Well, so I consider Boston home.
Yeah.
And I'm currently in California, which is where you were born in LA.
Yes.
And so we've swapped coasts. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in Boston, and how has being in Boston changed your artistic trajectory?
That's a great question. How long have I been in Boston? I am here coming up on 10 years. And, it's changed everything. It was a game changer when I first came for my undergrad at Mass Art. And then when I circled back, I was just giving a talk yesterday at, the SMFA, and it was like, oh my God, time. And then 13 years later, circle back here, and within time, a couple years, my art is blooming again.
Yeah.
And so it's had a huge impact on my life and my trajectory and how I see myself. But the ways that I could not put this together or have planned it, like Boston, Cambridge has provided these cosmic events to come together.
Well, most people when they think art, they're thinking New York, they're thinking LA, maybe San Francisco, maybe Miami. Yeah. I don't know that Boston gets enough credit for how much art and creativity is in the city, is encouraged. Mm-hmm. I used to work in footwear and apparel. I was at Puma, Reebok, a lot of the big companies in Boston. Yeah. And so many people from the design communities in there are working, I would almost say aggressively, with the community to keep building up the arts opportunities. How is it being in what people would consider a lower tier city, let alone lower tier art community? And I don't think those words are correct, but that's what people say. So does it give you more access because it's a smaller community? Does it give you more opportunities? Is it just better because some of the uppity nonsense is eliminated because it can't exist?
That's a great question. Having lived in New York and being from LA and seeing very successful people there, but also trying to figure out and just navigate those waters. Mm-hmm. I have come to understand there is a rich ecosystem that exists here, and a really strong community of artists. I mean, sometimes because it's so small, you can become really insular. But what I appreciate about it is this is a very livable place. Yeah. So I'm able to do what I absolutely love. And over the last couple years, I have just thought about more ways to spread my wings and allow the work to stretch beyond these borders. Yeah. And some people that live here are successful, and I define success by I got to do what I love, and I'm not stressing about that. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are able to do exactly what they love, and they're prolific and abundant in their practice. And it might just be here, within the Northeast region. So I don't see that as a problem when if you're thinking about other markets and other audiences that you'd like to extend your work into those places and find your reach, then then I guess you could say like, yeah, Boston, small potatoes, but I think it's been very specific in what it likes. Like there's a New England brand. I think the work that I make is disruptive to that. And I'm finding like my people are finding me and I'm finding them. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I wonder what that might be like if I were in a place like LA, which I just had a show there in November, or if I was in New York and I've shown my work there. And I guess it just feels like louder.
Yeah.
So I think there's a real rich culture that exists here, and a lot of people that are coming from all over to now make it have to grow and think of itself as being in competition, if you will, with like, you know, New York or LA, or actually just be taken seriously.
Yeah.
I think that's where I am, and it's growing up. So,
I mean, it's literally gained landmass since I left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know any other city that's gaining landmass as a result of its growth. There's something that I really love about Boston as a city that I don't think is talked about outside of the city as much, about how you can find so much depth in the communities that you can be a part of. They are supportive. It feels like an actual community-oriented city versus a lot of people running in different directions. LA is a great example, right? There's tons of people who are very interesting and nice, and it's like, oh, but I have to drive an hour to see you, so that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not that like driving an hour in Boston means you're like going skiing. It doesn't mean that you're leaving the city. So I think there's something nice about knowing that when you do meet people, it's easier to compound your network and it's easier to follow up, and it's easier to get connected to another group of someone you met because it is so centralized.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of the let's prove all these other cities that we actually have. We can do it all too, and we're going to have more fun along the way. I think your art is so beautiful, and I love the colors. I love that it goes from all the different dimensions that it can include. When you were thinking about the artist you wanted to be in art school, did you have this vision of where you are today, or were like, how has that journey been for you? Mostly not in like your confidence or things, but in your artistic style.
Yeah. This is not anything that I had consciously dreamt of.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that it has unfolded this way, because it's like I'm on a journey and it's quite miraculous. When I try to piece it together and say like, how did I get here? How did that happen? Like, did I manifest this? It's like, yes and no. I think I just, there were people along the way. Well, to answer your question directly, no, I never thought that this would be happening.
Yeah.
I hoped. And it wasn't until after I had my son, I moved back here to raise him, that I met a teacher. She's my mentor and my friend. Anne Forbush was like one of the first people when I was taking a monotype printmaking class, and just saying like, I want to paint again, but I don't have a studio and I can't afford anything. Like, I have a child and I don't really have a job that's full time. So what am I going to do? And she recognized that I was a serious maker. I wanted to be serious and taken seriously. And she said, I'm going to take you seriously. I'm going to push you if that's okay with you. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I found another person later on. I just gave a talk in her class yesterday. It was Eva Lensager, and I have a show with her right now. And she's another person who was like, I'm taking you seriously. And this was in my master's program. So like, yes, I'm serious. But, you know, she's like, I don't think you're just doing this to leave the program and not make your art. Like, I think you actually want to do this and live the life. And I was like, yeah, I do. And so she even was like, you have to take yourself seriously. I'm going to take you seriously. And I had another friend, Alex Callender, who was like, I think that you could do this. Cicely. So I'm taking you seriously. Like you are making serious art, whether you can own that or not. So I don't think that it was a matter of like me seeing myself doing it. It was a matter of just like taking myself seriously and not shrinking because like the weight of like such a big idea that's so overwhelming was making me feel like I have no idea how to get there. But I will also say that for a long time I was practicing this thing that I heard somewhere on a podcast when I was living in Mexico, and this guy, something Dooley or Dewey, it'll come back to like Michael Dooley, and he called them the cursed hows. So he's like, when you have a dream, it's like in your heart because it's for you. It's what you are, it's calling you. The worst thing you can do is ask how.
Yes. It's the truest statement that you can say, because when I'm not doing this, I'm a business coach and consultant, and I work with a lot of creatives, and I consider creative entrepreneurs not just artists and designers, but anyone who is thinking outside the box with what they're delivering, like, and working in their soul's purpose, right? And people have so many great ideas, but great ideas have a shelf life, and the visions that come to us have a shelf life. And I love that people go, yes, I want this. How does it happen? Instead of, to your point, just committing to, no, it's going to happen. And you're a great example of the people who are going to show me how will show up.
Yeah.
Like, we think that we have to have all the answers. And I'm like, no. Like, no, everyone needs a coach and a community, if not multiple. And we're not supposed to have all the pieces. Like, it's this really beautiful puzzle that we get to make when we actually allow others into the space. And I think once we get over the knowing how part, sharing it with people, I think is the next scary thing. So how are you deciding who to trust with your precious baby idea that you've now fully committed to?
Yeah. That's a question, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. It could go both ways. I think, one, it's believing myself. Like, am I trusting myself with this precious baby thing that I'm wanting to see come to fruition? And trusting that, like, I know that that's to be born through me. And then when I share it, I've had a lot of practice with sharing my ideas with people, and they're like, okay, are you sure? And feed a lot of doubt.
Yeah.
So I think I've had to learn to be selective. Who are the people I will share that, like, my dream with? And also be prepared for them to not be supportive of it. And then if they aren't, I'm just preparing for the worst in this. Like, if they aren't, I don't let that like stick to me. And also I think very recently I started to believe more firmly, like, I'm not going to take advice from somebody who's not willing to do what I'm going to do. So if I share it with them, I don't actually expect them to believe me. And for myself, I have a little tattoo on my back that says, do the impossible, just as my own little reminder. Like, I don't need you to believe that I can do it for it to happen. Because those people do come who do believe, and they're always unexpected guests, which is wonderful. So, and it's not that the people who don't believe are like robbing you of this wonderful moment. It's sometimes just too big, or like they're caring. And what our fear mind likes to do is like, no, stay safe. So I'm like, okay, you just want me to stay safe because it sounds scary. But I think I found the people that will celebrate these ideas with me. And sometimes, I'm very spiritual and like woo. So sometimes it's just like speaking, saying like, whoever, like those that are beyond, like, hear me. My mother, she's my angel. Like, Mom, I want this. Grandma, I want this. just like be with me and help me hold that. So because I don't know it's always something that I'm going to share with others. And mostly then I'll just start getting my way. So I just go do the thing.
Yep. Well, and it speaks to the grit and determination. Like I saw a meme the other day that said, of course you're going to succeed. You're determined and delusional. And I was like, yes.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think sometimes if we're asking, like, no, I think by sharing sometimes I realize like I'm asking
for permission. Yes.
And so that's where I'm like, no, I'm not going to talk to the person. I'm just going to like talk to those beyond you, like who really have my back. And I'm just going to go do the thing because I don't need to ask permission.
I think giving permission to clients is about 50% of what I do every day.
I bet.
Because we know it. And women in particular, in my opinion, have been told over centuries and certainly through our cultures that to disconnect from our knowing.
Yeah.
And everyone I know who is on a path that lights them up and life is working for them in a way that's very unique to them, they are willing to listen to themselves at such a deeper level. And it doesn't mean that we don't need help sometimes, because all of us get to a point where we're like, I got this. And then a day comes, you're like, I don't got this. Yeah. So it is an ebbing and flowing of, are we listening to what we know to be right? Because we all, if we're playing a big enough game, we're going to get onto those skinny branches that have us freak out and run back to whatever strongest foundation we have. And we're going to need that help. Yeah. But ignoring what we know to be true, I also see so many consequences tied to it. Do you have an example where you knew you should do or not do something and you didn't listen to it and you were like, oh, this is the karma I just gave myself?
So many times. I can give you so many examples of that. And where I've arrived from it. And I think we all get there is like, I heard it. I heard the like, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't listen. I'm sorry I didn't listen. And then now I know how to listen because I'm here because of that. And now I have wisdom because I can hear myself clearly. And I'm not doubting that because I don't want to do that thing again.
Yeah. I don't want to feel it again. Thank you.
I don't want to feel it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that there's like on a part of that too is like finding the grace in that. Like you have to know that I turned my ears off, my body off to like not hear it so that I can get back in touch and remind myself like, no, there is knowing that's in there. And like keep remembering and keep reconnecting to it because it's so easily, at least for me, it's like it's strong sometimes and then it fades. Or maybe I've just grown so like, yeah, I got this. And then I realized like, oh no, I don't got it because I wasn't listening, or like I thought I could hear it, but I can't hear it. And now I have to tune in a different way. And like, this is the update. Because also like, I want to be human in it.
It's like going to the gym, I think. Yes. You like if I'm not practicing the listening or the meditating or whatever gets me into that space, and then if you are doing it consistently, you have to shake it up sometimes. Or sometimes there's even someone who there's that parable, right, of you either get a whisper or get hit by a feather, a brick, or now it's a truck, like you choose. And I do think there are moments when we get so in our routines and so caught up in something, because again, we're human, that the bus comes and you're like, okay, I will tune back into the whispers and the feathers because it'll be easier.
Yeah.
When you go back to 8-year-old you, what would she be so proud of right now?
Oh. I thought about her the other day. I think she'd be proud that I didn't give up. And even when I like invoke her and I'm like, I give up, just have that moment of like, I don't want to do it anymore. That in that surrender, I'm reminding that she also like had a fire. She had like a lot of chutzpah. And I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I am stubborn that way. I know that. I like love that about myself. Because I have to, so I think she would be proud of me for pursuing what lights me up and like staying me and becoming more me and letting her play through me and not silencing her, like giving her more of a voice. And constantly looking back to like find her wisdom because she always knew.
They do.
Yeah.
I choose that age or age range because there's something really powerful about being half in the adult world and half in the kid world. And I know that I'm doing life right when I can feel her being excited.
Yeah.
I also know I'm doing life right when people think I'm totally insane. I'm like, oh, good. It's a really good idea. We found you just by being on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And I'm always searching for who is like the next woman I want to talk to and why. And when I found you on Instagram, I don't even remember how I found you, but I love bright colors. I love colors combined. I love seeing energy through art. And there's so much of that in what you create. And it was stunning and beautiful. I voted my team. I'm like, I want her on the podcast. And then the next thought I had looking at you and like the pile of poofs, I was like, there must be a day when you're like, not another piece of fabric.
Yes.
So how do you balance like the different phases of the art from the concept to the idea to, oh shit, now I got to build this thing I talked about. I'm on my 400th piece of something. This is the worst idea I've ever had. Like how do you stay in gratitude or graciousness when it's volume levels of having to like repeat a process to bring a collection together?
I cry a lot. I'm like, thank you. Why did I do this? Yeah, I think I see myself right now walking out of my studio building with these chunks of material in my hands, my face mask on. I'm freezing. Most of these projects have happened like in the dead of winter, which like I have Raynaud's. I freeze very easily. And I'm like, I don't want to be cold, but now I'm frozen all day and outside and then voluntarily because this is what I'm doing. And so I'm walking out and I'll say like, I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I love. I'm so grateful. And, find the sun. I'm like, I got this. I'm like, I'm ready. And I'll just like do a dance. I'm there. I am tired. My hands hurt. My body hurts. My face hurts. I am miserable because I don't like being cold. But I am so excited that I'm doing that then. Mm-hmm. And definitely crying like through it just because I'm like, what? I feel so alone in those moments. And then those are the things that like, I feel like I have to keep for myself because what ultimately will come back is like, well, aren't you grateful? Mm-hmm. Aren't you excited that you're doing this? And then like, obviously, yeah, but okay. Like no one's going to want to hear me complain about doing something that I said I wanted to do and I love it. So like, that's contradictory and silly.
But I do think that other artists or other creators, when you're in the minutia of having to get it done. Yeah. There's a moment, I think that's the piece where so many people stop.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that's why I wanted to ask you about it, because I do for the people who are on their 400th whatever or even 50th thing they've had to do, they don't want to make the presentation. They don't want to cut another thing out. They don't want to have to put another dot on this pixelated art that they thought was a great idea. But it's the finishing it that is why, like, it changes everything. There's like that final hurdle to get through.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's important, like to imagine you crying outside, shaking cold, and crying at the same time going, I love this. I totally love this. Like, that to me is so visceral and real. I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like, the worst punishments I've had were of my own making. So it's like, yeah, that's just kind of what it's like. There's a miserable component to doing everything that we love.
Yeah. Absolutely. Another little anecdote that I have for myself is like, I go sit in the steam room.
Ooh.
That's my thing. When I'm burning out and my like very neurodivergent brain is like, I'm going to get distracting right now. I'm not going to let you finish this. Because I have a really strong discipline. Mm-hmm. But I think in those moments when after I've done the crying and I'm like, I'm verging on burnout because I don't think I can make that extra dot or like spray that one more thing, then I just take a break. Mm-hmm. Like I just find a way to quickly reset. And while I'm there, I'm like, I'm going back. I'm going to finish it. We're going to finish this. I'm going to finish it. And just like keep talking to myself. But to remove myself for a moment actually makes me like feel more of the urge and the, what is the word?
Like the pull back
urgency?
To the art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To get back. But it's just a moment to like be in my body and just chill out for a second. That helps me reset.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Yeah. So like those two, I cry and just go have a little reset and go again.
Do you feel more pulled to start something or finish something?
Oh, both, because I'm starting and finishing something at the same time. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'll start a project, anything. If I start it, it's because I'm probably resisting finishing something. And like that mark that I'm going to make on that new thing does not belong in that other thing. So yeah, it's both. Mm-hmm. They both feel equally exciting.
Well, I mentioned that we found you on Instagram, and every artist that I know who is working to be an artist providing for themselves, so financially tied to their creativity, mm-hmm. the biggest struggles that they seem to have are balancing it being a business and then the marketing of themselves as an artist and finding the balance between what everyone's telling them to do to grow as a brand and a business versus what actually works for them. How are you kind of going through those motions of thinking about yourself as a brand, as a business, and making room for that side of it? Because obviously it'd be way more fun to just create all the time.
Yeah. Well, I always say like, one day I'm going to have a team. I will have a team where I don't have to do all of this, but wearing all the hats is really important. Mm-hmm. I did a project very recently where everything I did was a first. And I felt like it was totally overwhelming, mm-hmm. but really important for me to understand more of the inner workings of like myself as a business and the artist. So like now I know what to ask for the next time. Now I know what to look for. Now I know like what things to put in a contract.
Yeah.
Now I know that like it's okay to say I need this with like unapologetically because somebody, if they were my representative, would say that.
Yes.
And it doesn't make me difficult to work with. It doesn't make me like a diva or whatever, like no, it's actually quite reasonable and important, but like I'm now better at advocating and that helps me share that with the next person. So that's important. And I think to just give it all away to someone else is not really allowing you to be the best kind of creator. It just fortifies my intention and like where my passion lies, and that's in the making.
Yeah.
But there is something fun about playing the numbers game and wearing all the hats and being in control of like, because it's quality control. I'm not a micromanager by any means, but I realize like, no, I don't want to hand off my Instagram to somebody and say like, just start posting for me. Because there's stories in there. I am connecting in there, and it is my lifeline because I really don't have much of a social outlet daily, but that's where I find the connection. People are sending me messages and I'm like having conversations because I'm in the studio. And that feels like very fulfilling. But with the marketing, it is, I think, something like we all have to learn. And I didn't realize we would all have to learn that. And then same with, like, I took a business class, a mini business class when I first graduated from my MFA. And that summer it was so overwhelming. And I was like, I don't want to think about these things. That's so unsexy and like not what my work is about. That I'm not a walking corporation, but like, no, this is the society we live in. So you are playing a part of it. And it's important, and it doesn't make the value of what you do any less. Actually, it's like, it allows you to determine your worth and your value even more because you know what and why and who will value that. And I don't have to accept everything just because I think like I have nothing and I have to play by someone else's rules. I know the rules now, and I know how to speak the same language. So like we can have a better conversation. I think that's also generative and it's uplifting. And I think a lot of artists could benefit from feeling more empowered by knowing what they're dealing with and who they are and the value they actually hold. But my sister, and I'll wrap that up. My sister, she's a business person and she had just finished her MBA. So she was like, let's go over all the charts and do the things. And sometimes I check in with her. I'm like, no, I'm overloaded. I don't want to think about that. You think about that. Like, thank you for allowing me to think like, how can I expand? What would be the next steps? But like all those steps goes back to that cursed how. And I am like, I'm not motivated. I am stressed out, but some people love it. So, it's overwhelming, it's very fulfilling, and it's necessary, and it's a part of the art. So
there were so many things that I was like screaming amen to over here because there's, I think when artists want to resist any part of the business side of their art, you said some key things like you're not allowing yourself to play the game the same way. And I mean, all things are games. We can turn anything into a game, but there's something really empowering about knowing just how the cycle works. And because we can use creativity to be like, ooh, I like that part of the game, or I like this part. Those other parts, they're dumb. We're not even going to play in those teams. We'll delegate, we have to pay our taxes, but someone else can do that. I don't have to do it, right?
Right.
But there's parts that I think can really empower the artist in ways that they can't even imagine. And I'm on such a mission to remove the starving artist concept. Yeah. It's so self-fulfilling for people and so dumb. Like the scarcity mindset that we just easily attach to any type of art is like, it's shameful. It's like people creating things, whatever they're creating, shouldn't be assigned with like, well, you're just doing it because you're good and hopefully you like eating bread and water. And you're like, no, like this is so dumb. Because it doesn't, I think there's a misconception that it's either starving or millionaire, and there's so many layers in between. And I think society, we're starting to look at it a little bit differently now of what do I need to get by?
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah.
And what does sustaining that look like? And who wants to play that game with me? Because that's a completely different business model and thought process than let's become the next, multi-million-dollar auction item.
Right.
And then you see things like the banana at Art Basel and like it's enraging.
Yes.
Because there's so many people making incredible art where it's like, take that money, divide it by 20, and we can significantly help incredible artists that are doing the good work. And also they're cool and interesting and you want to also know them.
Exactly.
So, if someone's listening who's an artist, I want people to tell their story more. And that's why, part of the reason I want to talk to you, like, I want to know your story. I want to know what lights you up and what you're thinking about on a day-to-day basis, because there's such a difference in knowing the person whose art you want to buy.
Right.
And I think sometimes we want to sell things no matter what it is and be like, no, not me. I can't talk about me. And I'm like, no, you are the heart and soul of what this is. Like the thing can't exist without you. So you're part of the lore.
Mm-hmm.
So we're obviously on the Powerful Ladies podcast. How do you define powerful and ladies? And do those definitions change when those words are put next to each other?
Well, I hear ladies and I think like, I'm proper.
And for those who are listening, the head tilt with the hand right now, so demure. That was so nice.
So demure, yes. Very mindful. That's the picture I get. Like, I have it together. I know where I'm going. I'm loving light, take no shit. And, I have grace. Mm-hmm. So I think that's when I think of like what my mother wants me to be, if I'm a lady, and through her eyes, like, yeah, I'm living my life and I'm taking care of it, and a little bit of this, and unapologetic and just lovely. Mm-hmm. So lovely is the word, and feeling creative and having fun. That's a lady. And then powerful is sovereign, authentic, risk-taking, unapologetic, aware, like wielding. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm conjuring like visuals of what that looks like. It's not so much like the lady in the forest with some fire around her, but she's got a fire around her. It's not coming to burn things down, but probably just the things that don't belong, to like clear the path, because we're making things beautiful here and it's supposed to be fun. We're going to have fun and do it my way. Because my way is also there to serve you. And I think that's really powerful. And like a lady isn't just for self. She's thinking of others and what she can like give.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's beautiful. I agree on so many levels. And, what so many of us have been talking about this year is how do we stay in, like, women have been doing the good work for so long. And I'm such a believer that if people are doing work that lights them up, to your point, it radiates out and allows other people to. And there's an echo effect. Mm-hmm. And what's happening right now at a global and national level is everything possible to distract us from staying in that space and doing what we know to do.
Yeah.
So how are you balancing who you are and what you're up to and continuing to charge onto your path? And I don't know, are you staying aware and plugged in? Have you changed habits to make sure that things around you stay in structures that you need them to so you can keep going?
I am very aware of what's happening. I think that there's a kind of, it's really hard. It's not something that are, like, we are designed to absorb all at once. Like, it's overload for a reason. Mm-hmm. there's a playbook for what's happening. So if you know, then you know what that is and how to like resist that, or the rules. So then you're not just succumbing to this like overload and then I give up and it succeeds. So I think I'm being more intentional about community. I'm being more intentional about my practice, but not just using that as a way to fill my cup and to make me feel like I have value in the world. Art has been my medicine, and it's been my lover, and it's been, the thing that sustains me. And it's made me feel like I have purpose. I have confidence. I have something to give. And that feels good. And I receive through that too. And so riding this really great wave for a while, and now this happening like around me, I don't think that like where I can live can just be in that space, like holed up in my studio. This is not a time to isolate.
Yeah.
It's a time definitely for creation, but to rush to it, to do something is not beneficial to me, because it's not going to be beneficial to anybody else. It's just a reactive thing. So I'm falling back into more practices that are sustaining and have been for a long time outside of my art. And so like I'm dancing more. I'm meeting people at my son's school and through friends, and hosting gatherings here and doing sound baths, and, being intentional about like, these are community gatherings and I want all like a curated group of people. And I'm like, we are going to join. You can say no, but I will keep texting you until you show up. And just making sure we stay connected and having the talks that we need to, crying when we need to. And then taking like a lot of rest right now. I've also had a very long stretch of like nonstop making, so I'm a little tired. But next week I'm getting back to the studio because it is time. But I didn't feel like 2 weeks ago it was in that moment like time to be reactive. Nothing productive will come of that. So I was like, no, I'm going to chill because the world can burn and somebody else will help stop it. But right now, like I can't set myself on fire more, it actually won't help. So like chill, reset, get your mind clear, and remember that all the things that are coming in is a giant distraction, is a distraction to what I'm here to do. And if what I'm here to do is to also be a way forward and share my vision of like what the world could be and what I want to see, I have to keep that like clear and pay attention to what's going on, be prepared, of course, and like talk about the real stuff that's happening, but also not hold that as like the ultimate reality. Like no one owns the future. We own the future, and we need each other to like be connecting to build that and stretch it out more than just like fall asleep to this really bad nightmare that's happening, because it's not real. And I feel like what I'm doing and what you're doing is real. And so just trying to stay there is like how I'm navigating these waters.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. It's art has always been political, and so many things have always been political. Fashion, like there's just, because being of community is political, and having an opinion can be political. And we often make things being political bad. But I think that we need to remember that having the capacity to be within a community that discusses ideas and has collaboration and has a push and pull so the idea becomes better, like that's what being political is. And we've turned it into this, we've redefined it as a word that is like nasty and gross and other things. And it's like, no, like it's discussion, it's conversation, it's making improvements. And women are doing the work in their home, in their neighborhood, in their community, at global levels. And to your point, we have to keep doing the work. And we have for centuries, like whether we've gotten credit or not. So women are doing the work. But to your point, it's like, listen, if they're going to play their own delusional game, and they're so committed to it that they're like, look what's happening. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that. Like, we can have that power too. I'm like, no. that reality is in bananas.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I'm going to hang it over here with the other people who are creating a reality that is founded on things that humanity actually wants. And we're going to keep doing it because I think we forget that there's resistance in just saying no.
Yeah.
Like toddlers say no all the time. Like we can just say no.
Yeah.
And we don't have to take an action to say no. It can just be like, nope, that's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Not participating, not agreeing to it. It's not going to happen. And I think it's so entertaining what's happening with like Boston Talk right now. It's so entertaining. And just like, I love seeing the audacity where everyone's like, I'm sorry. You have no idea about the city. You have no idea what you're talking about right now. And I mean, Boston has its own layers of problems that it has been working through and massaging for centuries at this point. So I think it's self-aware enough to know we're still doing the work ourselves.
Yeah.
But like, it's also a place that's been able to create an environment because the people are participating. So somebody asked me the other day, like, what's your routine right now? I'm like, I wake up, I do my morning rituals, I call my senators, I buy some banned books, and I get back to my day. And I just be nice to people. And I'm not afraid to talk about the things that are going on and say that they're ridiculous. But I'll also happily talk to somebody else about anything else but that, because it's such a small part of our world. It's like very similar to when we were in COVID lockdown. And it's like, we can choose to watch TV all day, or we can choose to be like, what's great about our bubble?
Yeah.
I have food. I'm currently healthy. I have everything I need. We're going to make it through the day. Okay, let's have fun now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly making being a powerful lady get more poignant than I think it has been in a while.
I agree.
So as we're wrapping up today, I have a few kind of rapid fire questions for you. The first is, if you put yourself on the powerful lady scale, 0 being average everyday human and 10 the most powerful lady you can imagine, where would you rank yourself today and on an average day?
Ooh. I aspire to be a 10. Most days, if I'm being generous to myself, I'm around a 7.5, maybe an 8. That would be generous. And then realistically, probably just a 7. But I think that's pretty good.
It's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel good. And when I haven't felt good, and there was a period for a time where I was like, I'm doing it. I might, things look good on the gram, but I'm having a hard time. And I'll share that too. Like, I'm struggling. It still lands in a 7 because I have everything I need. I'm well. I might have a little sads, but that's okay. I'm not alone. And, I get to wake up every day and like see what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who or what is inspiring you right now?
Oh. What? I think where we are is inspiring me. I don't know. I think just like the landscape, the kinds of conversations that are happening, the reflection, and then what I'm seeing is inspiring me. And I don't say, it's more like it's lighting a fire. So something's building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a daily practice or a daily product that you can't live without?
Tea. I have my little tea ritual. No matter what, I have my cup. I talk to it. I sing in the morning. in the woods. I need to go walk. Yeah.
Where can everyone find you, follow you, support you, who is now on your team?
Oh, thank you for being on my team. On Instagram is the easiest, at Cicely Carew. And my website has a mailing list you can join at cicelycarew.com.
Mm-hmm. We are a large and powerful and helpful community. What do you want? What's on your to-do list, to manifest list? What's a problem we can solve for you, or a hidden key that we can unearth for you?
Oh, wow. That's like asking a genie for my one wish. I want to find more of the dreamers and the builders and the people who are already where I think I want to be.
Yep.
And those who might show me a different way, or all the ways to get wherever I might go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dreamers, builders who are in the space ahead of the line. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. We can make that happen. And then, lastly for today, for everyone listening, especially for those who are fellow artists, what piece of advice would you like to give to them?
The thing that I'm practicing right now and just holding for myself is that, like, although we want to ask for a lot of advice or be told what to do, I think that's like the permission, like, tell me how to do it, please. Because like the living is the doing. Someone can give you advice, but that's really their path. And the guidance is really helpful. And ultimately, I would say, like, stay flexible in your thinking about yourself, like, and how you get anywhere, and be in process, because everybody's way is a way, but ultimately you are the way. So believe in that.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being a yes to me, to Powerful Ladies. Yeah. It's been a pleasure to meet you today and get to spend some time on this Friday with you. So just thank you for who you are, what you're doing, and being another one of those women we can count on, doing their thing and holding the line.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. This is such a pleasure.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Head to thepowerfulladies.com, where you can find all the links to connect with Cicely and her work, as well as learn more about Powerful Ladies. Come hang out with us on Instagram at Powerful Ladies, and you can find me and all my socials at karaduffy.com. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Until then, I hope you're taking on being powerful in your life. Go be awesome and up to something you love.